Ever almost lose a deal between a combative real estate professional? Here's my story. A few years ago, I had a listing in an area of Phoenix, Arizona called Arcadia. And it was a new construction home. And I had been showing the property for a couple weeks. Was getting good traffic on it. It was a good home and it was priced really well, so it was a nice listing. And so as the story goes, I had my co-list agent, his name was Will. I had him show the property, and because I never showed property for the first tour. And by the way, anybody that is selling luxury out there, the reason you need a co-list agent is because you need to be busy going to get more listings, not showing up to first listings. The first showing should be done by your co-list agent. The second showing should be done by you. In any event, so I show up to the second showing because Will had mentioned that there was interest in the property. So I get there and there's a woman there and she's with her son. Her son was going to ASU. And we're going through the home, and within about 10 minutes, this woman turned to me and she goes, "We love it. What is the price?" And I told her, I believe it was $2,995 or something like that, but I think it was $295. And I said, "It's $295 and it's actually priced really well." And she stuck out her hand and she goes, "You got a deal." And so I stuck out my hand, I shook her hand, I said, "Fantastic, you're gonna love this home." And while we're literally shaking hands, her agent that was representing her grabbed our hands and she threw them apart. And she goes, "We do not have a deal." And she tells her client to come outside with her. So I'm sitting here going like, holy shit, I've never seen this before. Like, I've seen some stuff, but I've never seen an agent sabotage her own deal in front of her client. It was the most bizarre thing. So I knew I was dealing with ego, and I knew I was dealing with somebody that wanted to control everything, and somebody that in a sense felt like they had to bring their worth to the table. So they go outside, and then the agent peeks. So they were outside for maybe 5 minutes or so, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is insane. And so agent comes back in and she goes, "Hey, I'll call you later on today. Let me speak with my client." And I forgot the woman's name, the agent's name, but let's say it was Diane. And I said, "Diane, do me a favor. When you get in your car, will you call me?" And she looked at me kind of funny. And she goes, "Sure." I go, "Okay, thank you." So they both leave. Client gets in her car, agent gets in her car, and of course she calls me. And this is the point of my story, is having confrontation and bringing it to the forefront. Because what you don't want to do is when you have an agent that has an ego, when you have somebody that you feel as though it's going to be a rough transaction because of their personality or whatever it is, don't allow that to get into the escrow process, like inspection and other parts of the escrow process, because that's when things will start to break apart. Because if you wait till that point, then from negotiations to all this other stuff, it'll end up breaking apart because you didn't confront this person head on. And I knew that's what I wanted to do at this point. I wanted to punch this woman in the mouth with my discussion that I was about to have with her, and that was this. So she calls my phone, and I said, "Diane," and I prefaced this, it was beautiful. I said, I just want to let you know, we're gonna get in an argument right now, but it's gonna be a good thing in the long run. And she was like, "Excuse me?" I go, "I cannot believe that you're willing to risk your client not getting this home, and she loves it because she wants to pay full price, where the alternative is she doesn't get the home, she hates you, and she'll never use you to represent her." And she just "Don't you talk to me like that. I've been in business 40 years and this and that." And I let her vent. I go, "I just want to explain something to you. I don't care how long you've been in business. Your client loves this home. And all you're trying to do is blow this deal because you think that you got to work some magic and trying to get her a better price. There is no better price. I'm not lowering the price of this home. I've had 18 showings on it in the past 2 weeks. If your client wants the home, write it up at full price. You're going to make $90,000 on this transaction. And your client would be, to the moon if you get a full price offer signed by my client today and you get to make 90 grand and you're having a fit over it because you feel as though you gotta insert yourself to do a better job or to get her a lower price. When the reality is you're gonna blow this deal. And I also said in the same breath, I said, and the reason I wanna fight with you now is because I don't wanna fight with you during the inspection. And I don't wanna fight with you over the next 30 days while we're in escrow. You and I are gonna hash this out right now and get whatever it is in your mind off the table so we can move forward and have a smooth transaction. Are you okay with that? And she's like, that's fine, but like, I've never been kind of insulted like I am right now. I go, you can take it as an insult all you want. I don't care about you necessarily. I care that your client and my client can put a deal together and they can have a smooth escrow process. And I feel like if I don't bring this to the forefront now, I feel like you're the one that's gonna make it very rocky to get to the closing table. She was super offended, but I wanted her to be offended. I wanted her to get upset and I wanted her to release whatever the hell was frustrating her or whatever she felt compelled that she had to bring to the table for her client so she felt her worth on her commissions. I wanted all of that out of the way right now because I didn't want to deal with it in the escrow process. And we did. We hashed it out for like 10 minutes and when we got off the phone, everything was cool. I got the full price offer within a couple hours. We went into escrow and Will, who took over during escrow, was like, no, it was super smooth. She was actually really, really nice. That was everything that I wanted. I wanted to hit the confrontation point head on and set my expectations and vet about what I just saw happen so she could vet back to me so we could get this, what was inevitable that we were gonna do, the butting of the heads, so we could do that before we even signed the deal so we could have smooth sailing throughout the rest of the transaction. And the moral of the story is, it's the same thing with clients. If you allow your client to control you throughout the listing process or the buyer process, at some point, you're gonna butt heads. And it usually happens at the wrong point of sale. If you set your own expectations up front and you understand their expectations up front, whether you gotta vet some anger or whatever it is, get it out of the way as soon as possible. The sooner you clear the air with a co-broking agent or with a client or whomever it is, I guess this can even go into relationships, the sooner you clear the air, the faster you can move on to the next phase and hopefully there's calmness there. So don't be afraid to confront and do it in the right way because in the end, at some point, it will boil over and you wanna get it out of the way sooner than later. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this story. Again, as always, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and always check us out at JasonMitchell_JMG on Instagram. Thanks, guys.